Okay, so again, as usual, I want to give more gravitas to what I just said. And so I want to go to this. The 19th prime and composite. I've talked about this so many times, but there's no end to this. Okay, this is God's way of showing that how intricate this generator of the Quran is, and how these things are mathematically generated, that leaves no doubt that what we have to do is we have to obey the word of God. So we have no other option. Okay? So, again, we go back to this, the 19th prime and 19th composite. The 19th prime is 67. And so 19 times 67 immediately will give you 1273. Okay? And 1273 is the frequency of the word God in 9127. Okay? So that immediately comes from this simple relation between 19th prime is an index, which is 19. 67 is index, which is 19. Very simple. Okay? The 19th composite is 30. Okay? And now, I didn't mention it here, but chapter 67 has 30 verses. Okay? So we've talked about this so long. I mean, I don't know how old this is, but this is like ancient, okay? Like 10, 15 years old. Anyway, the 19th composite is 30, as I said, and 19 times 30 is 570. Okay? So, again, I did not mention this, but 570 happens to be the number of Aleph Lam Mim in chapter 32, which is called prostration. Okay? Anyway, so 570 is an index, is the index of Gaussian prime 9127. So immediately 1273 and 67 generated the frequency of the word God in chapter 9, verse 127, will tell you that, yes, the composite part is telling you that it has to be 9127. Okay? By virtue of 570 being the index of Gaussian prime 9127. Okay? Now, it happens that 570th additive prime is 9677. And 9677 is the 619th Chen prime. And we know that 619 is the 114th prime number. So it tells you that, okay, I am talking about the Quran. The mathematics here tells you that, yes, this is a book. That book has the frequency of word God from the beginning of the Quran to 9127 is 1273. But how do we know it's 9127? Because 19 times 30 is 570, and 570th Gaussian prime is 9127. Okay? So that immediately fixes it there. That's what it's telling you mathematically. So, how do we know it's the Quran? The signature of the Quran is 114. That means it has 114 chapters. Okay? So that comes through the additive prime, which is 9677, which happens to be a Chen prime, and it happens to be the 619th Chen prime. And 619th, as we know, is 114th prime number. So again, it tells you, yes, this book has 114 chapters. Okay? And this is the inner structure of that book. Okay? So I haven't talked about this, because if I talk about this, this is going to take the whole day. Okay? Chapter 32 has 30 verses. Okay? 570 is the number of Alif Lam Mim in there, and that chapter 32 has 30 verses. I haven't even said that yet. Okay? So, if we go through this, okay, as I said, it's going to take the whole day. 3230 itself actually describes that 9 is supposed to have 127 verses. How is it possible? Because 3230 is 2 times 5 times 17 times 18, which is 1378. Okay? And 1378 happens to be a triprime. And its index is actually 341. 341 is 11 times 31. 1130 first prime number is 9127. Okay? So that's as I said, if you want to go through this, there is no end to this. And this is the beauty of the Quran. And as I said, when we were talking about chapter 33, verse 35, and we were looking at those descriptions, it is so important for us to actually emulate those descriptions. Or say to ourselves, is it describing me? Okay? Did I think about God enough today? Was I faithful to God today? Was I at peace with the way that God was doing the whole thing, running this universe? Or did I object to it? Okay? So it shows the gravity of those statements. That's what the idea about this whole thing is. These simple generators, okay, very simple generators, describing the Word of God. And again, as I said, we have to take it to heart and look at them very carefully. And ask ourselves, is it who I am or not? Or am I somebody else? I'm going to stop here and finish my comment.